So what is the date today? You don't know? Okay, look, you don't have to be sad. Look, I love you. You're my mother. I'm not doing this to play you out. But when you act like this and you expect me to take psych meds, all I'm asking is for a scientific explanation. I've been treating you very fairly, I think, recently. Okay, and all I ask you, is to look at it from science and to not avoid the argument. Did I write this down earlier? Have we been talking about not avoiding the argument? Yes or no?
You have been writing a lot of things down.
All right, so you're not willing to talk about the thing I circled and I went over again and again. So I didn't bring this up again and again? No recollection?
I heard you. I heard everything you said.
Okay.
I saw you write everything down.
All right, so you wrote this down, right? I am not well versed in African cultures, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. No one knows every culture in the world. I'm not well versed in every African culture myself. So you wrote that down, right? This is you?
We're not well versed in arcane African cultures.
Okay, so when I take on that culture, it means we no longer have the same culture. Yes or no?
If you have done so.
Yes, I've done so. Are there swords on the basketball court? Yes or no?
There are ceremonial swords.
Do I confide in you, or are usually our interactions just, hey, how you doing?
You have not been conversational for quite a few years.
All right, so it is safe to say that my friends know better about the root causes of my behavior, as far as, if I'm upset on any given day than you do, just based on the fact that your argument is that I have some mental illness and their argument is based on what I've told them, right? So they know more about what has at least triggered my behavior, yes or no?
The causes of your behavior, no. What you've told them, yes, I'm sure they know.
So let me ask you this again. How do you speak with certainty if everyone knows that there are different views of psychiatry? There's a major movement right now to get psychiatrists to prove mental illness and not to diagnose based on symptoms. Were you aware of that?
We have always approached your disease as the seizure disorder you manifested as a young baby.
Okay, so if such a disease exists, and I go out, do I go out every day, yes or no?
Probably.
Okay, so I'm just asking, I'm not trying to offend you again. I'm being very reasonable. I'm trying to fix this family. And my argument specifically is I'm more sharp than you are, no offense. I'm more reasonable. And it's not fair to ask a college graduate who has a martial arts competition, whose religion is all over the internet with thousands of videos. Were you aware of how many videos I have?
No.
Okay, so I've been making videos since 2009, and my viewers know that. For the record, for the psychiatrist, I'm going to submit this to a psychiatrist. And my argument is that you guys have no right to call the cops and try to make a deal with them. Did you not were you there when my father made a deal with the police that I had to take the drugs for 3 days?
He made the deal with you.
Okay, in front of the cops, right? And the cops said that they would have taken me if they saw a threat. Did you hear that? All right.
I think you're taking a lot of stuff here out of context.
Okay, well, why do you say that then? Because this is kind of important.
My context is this. With a known diagnosis of complex partial
A known
seizures,
diagnosis? Okay.
proved by multiple scans.
Multiple
EEG,
scans, no. So, okay, show me evidence. Okay, on record right now, this is the last time I'm ever going to ask you evidence. You've made this claim in the past. I've asked you, last time, a few years back, I'm not trying to insult you. A few years back, I have you on record, on camera. Remember when I was recording you, and I said to you, produce this evidence, and you said, you always ask me to produce this evidence. Have I asked you between then and now to produce it? Any recollection of that?
No.
Okay, so I don't always ask you then, do I? And I haven't asked you for a long time. So according to what you just said, yes or no?
I don't. We have shown you the EEG that showed the seizure site.
Mom, I asked you one thing.
We have shown you your PET scan that showed the same seizure site.
My argument is not what you... Listen to me, mother.
A
bunch of old people have shown me things that...
A bunch of scientific tests that show...
Okay, please produce the evidence. Why do you have this instead of me?
Well, gee, I don't have it in my pocket.
Okay, listen, I'm not asking you to produce it now.
No,
How,
you
how
need
long?
to.
How long would it take you to produce it? Because I've asked you this before, and this is key. And if you take too long, I'll have to suspect your motives because you seem to be dodging my questions.
Your medical records will be kept by
Mom,
your
can you please stop being
physicians.
emotional? Your argument is that you are in more of a sane state of mind than I am.
Your medical records are kept by physicians. I am not your physician.
Okay,
The
you're not.
physicians that ran these tests have the medical
Okay,
records.
I have no recollection of seeing anything. The physicians, I swear on my everything, on my answers to God, they told me it was inconclusive, that the evidence was inconclusive. And I've been asking you, swear to God, this is my honest, no, I did not agree with your narrative on
Your
this.
psychiatrist kept saying.
No one has ever, on record.
Your neurologist said.
Hey, please, produce the evidence. Produce the evidence. Produce conclusive brain scan that I can show to a neurologist that I pick and a psychiatrist that I pick in a city that I pick. Okay? Produce the evidence. That's all we ask.
Your physicians have your records.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is it moral to drug somebody when you act emotional like you are now? I mean, can you agree that
I'm very emotional right now.
Yes, and this is usually how it is when you call the cops, right?
And you think that I'm being very emotional right now.
I think that you're unfair to me when you're emotional, and that you have some complex related to violence because when you were younger you had bad experiences. I'm not going to explore it. That's your personal life, but I do think it's affected mine. And I don't think it's fair that my life is affected by your complex. Okay, when I went to Houston, did Dad talk me out of it? Yes or no? Please just be honest.
Did you go to Houston?
No, excuse me. You're right. I misspoke. When I was going to go to Houston, were you guys really upset and talking me out of it? Yes or no?
Yes, we tried our best to talk you out of going to Houston.
All right. Is there anything you want to say? Like, go ahead. I'll give you the floor for a minute.
Your stated reason for going to Houston was that you wanted to be violent and
No, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. I have a witness on interview. One of my interviews is that Houston lady. The reason I wanted to go to Houston was to move in with her. I told you that. That is unfair.
So this was the woman that has children.
Yes, and she
has had concurrent boyfriends.
Yes, but this is my life, Mother. Mother, I would like to remind you calmly, as you're on camera.
And we did not do anything but try to talk you out of it.
Yes.
We
Okay. So, all right. So, okay. So, can we agree to some degree?
And that's what parents do.
Yes, and that
when
kept.
When you think you're making a big mistake, they try to talk you out of it.
And that kept me here. Now, do you believe I'm treating you unfairly by smoking weed outside, and sometimes it trails in the house, and you get sick from the third-hand smoke?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So, does that make you upset?
It makes me feel that I'm being treated unfairly.
Yes, and does it make you feel vengeful?
It mostly makes me feel sick, and I cough a lot and throw up.
I apologize, but this is. Do you see how this? Perhaps that's influencing.
I have trouble breathing.
Can you see how that's influencing your behavior and your judgment?
Well, it certainly gives me a lot of trouble breathing, and it makes me edgy and nervous.
Okay, what do you suspect is my...
To be around that stuff.
What do you suspect is my motivation for making this video right now? I've told you that I want to give it to the psychiatrist. I want outside opinions because you're too close to this. You're too emotionally attached, and I do believe your behavior right now reflects the fact that you're too close to this.
Well, several times in the past you have tried to get me to say things on video that I didn't agree with, and then you've...
I don't agree with the statement, but go ahead.
Tried to...
Okay, hold on. Before you finish that.
You tried to put down a bunch of arguments that, in my opinion, didn't go together go in the direction that they took them.
I agree. Okay. Let me ask you this.
That was my opinion.
Okay, yes, it's your opinion. Now let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this, Mom. Do you remember telling me that you're not willing to sign? You weren't willing to write down that I have no on-record violent criminal history. Now, before you answer, keep in mind, if you don't know, then you don't know. But why weren't you willing to write that you were not willing to write it down? I asked you to write it down.
I tell the police all the time.
But why weren't you willing to write it down? You knew what I was trying, Mom. Did I not make it clear to you that I was trying to create evidence, to create a factual scientific argument? That's why I wrote science right here. Remember when I said we don't have the same culture, science. Remember, this is what led you to write down this other thing. When you said, I am not versed in African cultures. I said Igbo war dance.
That's true.
Yes. So why were you not willing to write down that you were not willing to write down whether or not I had a criminal history or violent criminal history specifically?
Because it's more complicated.
Do you believe that actions speak louder than words and that 35 years of self-restraint going into a place that you know I don't want to be? You know I don't like living here. You know I leave here hungry and angry, right? Do you know that?
I have food in the house.
Yes or no? Do you know I leave here every morning hungry and angry? Whether or not
I have food in the house.
Mom, please, I asked you, please, Mother, please, I ask you again, please stop being unreasonable.
Why? Yes, I see that you often seem to feel the need to to get up and move around the house at all hours of the day and night, to go outside, to scream and yell in a place
I'm being
where
provoked,
people
Mom.
hear.
Can you please speak quicker because it's ridiculous,
Where people hear you and you seem to have the need to.
All right, man, you're taking. Okay, I see what you're saying. Look, you're saying I go out and say yell. Okay, you're taking forever. Okay, you say I go outside. You're making me lose my train of thought by taking forever, and that's part of the problem here. Is communication, and that is also cultural. I'm a martial artist, and the emphasis is on speed. That's part of why I talk quicker, because I move quicker. I can do 15 hits from my boxing range with gloves on in 1.2 seconds.
You are very quick.
Yes, so does that not make one inclined to think quick, like speed chess? What is the difference, in your opinion, between speed chess and regular chess? No idea. That's great. You're also displaying an inability to use basic deductive reasoning quickly. And when you call the cops, you have to think quickly to be right, don't you? You can't be like, I'm emotional. You see what I mean? I'm not trying to insult you, Mom. Like,
I actually, in your case, there was a lot of discussion and pondering and hesitation to be sure that we do the right thing. Every time we interact with you, it causes us to take a lot of time from our lives and to think about you very hard and
can you limit your answers to like 10 seconds? I mean, and try to be smart, because this also shows an inability to think effectively in an interview situation. If you can't do that, how are you qualified to, judge me? I have 10,000 valid sources. I've been speaking on psychiatry for 7 years. No one can disprove a single key point. I keep having to remind you not to avoid the argument. You can't give me a concise, effective, masterful answer. You know them by their works. Your works are that of an emotional old lady who needs to love her son and not judge his behavior. She needs to give me his credit for not hurting anyone when he trains violence every day.
I always tell the police that you have no history of violence.
Then why drug me? This is a cultural disagreement, and it is immoral to drug someone when you cannot scientifically prove your argument. Do you admit that psychiatric medication has side effects?
Actually, that is seizure medicine.
Okay, for seizure. Okay, it's Depakote. They don't use it for bipolar disorder, do they? Yes, they do. It's a mood stabilizer. It's not just a seizure medication. You didn't know that?
I think that psychiatrists have started using Depakote for seizures that they're misdiagnosed.
What's the key ingredient in Depakote? No idea.
Your main problem, divalproex it's called, but it's...
They use valproic acid, an acidic substance that messes up. Man, look, you're very unreasonable.
Lemonade isn't acidic.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think there's a single person on the planet. We have about a minute and 30 seconds left. I appreciate you doing this interview. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think there's gonna be a single person on the planet, psychiatrist or not, who doesn't think that what you're doing is making me agitated, and that I do not have a serious mental illness, or I wouldn't have graduated college. I wouldn't be a martial artist that no one can beat. I have over 100 victories and no losses. But I bet you didn't know that, did you?
Did you know seizures?
Mom, please, we have a minute, 30 seconds. Can you please stop avoiding the argument? Okay? I have 100 victories and no losses. Do you know that? I'll give you 1 minute to speak, okay? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Do we eat dinner today together at this here table?
You've been asked many times and refused many times.
So we don't.
You weren't even here
Mom,
today.
please stop wasting. We have a minute left. Show insight and not a lack of leadership ability.
So you keep refusing to eat with us.
Okay, so we don't eat together, but we watch movies together.
You keep refusing
So
to
all you know is what you hear through the wall when I play rap music, right?
And the amount of agitation.
And I'm known to smoke marijuana, and remember the other day you thought I smoked spice, right? Remember that?
And what I hear...
Hold on. We're almost out of time. Did you say, did I not get angry at you before you called the sheriffs?
I asked you if you smoked spice.
Exactly. You didn't even know your son, who's been smoking marijuana since he was 13 years old, has been smoking marijuana and spice.
I've seen spice come into the house in the mail.
No, you haven't. Show me one. I swear to God, people, this is how out of touch she is.
I've seen it come through the mail.
It never has.
Addressed to you.
Not true. Oh my God.
What, you think that's